Hey, Chris. Ah,
Morning, Adil.
yeah. Good evening. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. We had like a 20-degree day today, and fuck, it's nice. Dude, it's March 9th today. Just outside in t-shirt, walking around in the sun. It's fucking awesome. Like, I think, like, felt like summer today, actually. And, like, everyone's on the promenade by the river, and, like,
Ooh.
yeah. One nice thing about Dusseldorf in the summer, man, it's just super sweet.
Wow. I mean, I
Yeah.
like the flowers in your background.
Yeah, man. They're 8 tulips because there's four and four.
Okay.
8 tulips is like €3. You just like
Wow.
buy them every 10 days. So, like, for €10 a month, you just get to have like beauty in your house. And here's the thing I learned actually because everybody rents here, and it's like, um, if you paint your house, you have to turn it back to the color you got it. So, like, no one paints their house. Like, everyone's house is white, right? It's just like it's the worst of all things, I think, because there's like absolutely no character in like a lot of houses, you know.
Huh.
So it's a good way to add color. Like, my house is like really white. I mean, I'm lucky that I have like this, art in the background because it's like furnished. But I think the tulips add some like organic feel to like,
Okay, wait. So, I mean, I have recently started to decorate my house. I don't even know
yeah,
what's this art in your background.
yeah. You
It looks
decorate
great.
your house with a Donald Trump portrait. Yeah, that sounds
Well,
good.
the elephant in the room. It's just to remind me to talk about this asshole today. So it's just a reminder. And I want to be one of those guys who has like a screen in my background with a book recommendation. I thought that
He's
was
like
like,
the devil. What's the book that you have back there?
it's ignition. Do you know it?
Ignition, like R. Kelly? No, no, I don't know it.
Ignition. Okay, it's a informal history of liquid rocket propellants by John D. Clark.
Mm.
It's about this guy who was working for the um, I forgot the name of the organization. Uh, the missile testing organization, the rocket testing organization. What's it called? Oh my god.
APM, Jet
Yes,
Propulsion
yes, yes, yes,
Laboratory.
yes, yes. Yes. You got JPL, and him in the 50s and 60s, during like the space race of when they were all trying to build great rockets. And I feel like I've been reading this book for 5 years, by the way, on my phone, and I finally bought it in hard copy to like give to somebody. But um, this book is way above my brain level, and I
Mm.
think it has all the gems about how to build rockets, but it's really subtly in there. Like he keeps alluding to, well, I can't tell you this, but if you looked into this and this and this, you'd figure it out, you know? And it's a high level of chemistry that is just way over my head. But I don't know, I've always wanted to learn rocketry, so it's just fun to read.
Interesting.
What did I do for art recently? What I did was I put my
Oh, I see the longboard and the skis. But those are functional art. Like, do you pull that off the wall to go use it when you want to? Or is
yes,
that just
yes,
strictly?
yes. Those are both functional things. Those skis and longboard are barely on screws. You know. It was interesting to hang up the skis. I bought these skis
The
because
skis are,
I said I like underglow, right? The underglow of the green really makes it pop when you're skiing, right? But also it's an art piece.
badass with the fucking cobra. You're like, ugh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Only on the ski lift, right? Um,
Danger.
yeah. But I'm slowly getting my art out. I mean, finally, when you own a place, it feels like all the things you've been keeping for eons, you can finally like unpack, and that's why I had this stupid screen up because this is a screen I was building for NFTs, um, and it's always just been packed away. I was designing an app on the screen to like a web app that can like display a bunch of art, right? So that was kind of the point. Um,
Got it.
but yeah, dude, I love that it's summer there. I mean, it's really nice here in Calgary now. To be honest, it's been beautifully sunny. It's been 10 degrees most days, and it's been great.
I would say, man, 10 degrees here is like t-shirt weather. It feels good. but it's still cold in the shade. Same as Calgary. If you're out in the sun, it gets cold.
Exactly. I had a couple days where I went to the dog park in sandals and a t-shirt and shorts. So people were still wearing their winter coats, but the sun was out, so I did it. I don't know.
Are you ever worried about stepping in dog shit with your bare feet?
Yeah, it's happened to me in my slippers actually in my front yard.
Oh, why are you wearing slippers? You deserve that.
I deserve that.
You just throw them away. At that point, you're just like, I'm not cleaning these. These are just going in the
I've
garbage.
been attempting to. They're in my backyard right now, frozen.
Wait, you just left your frozen dog shit laden slippers out in your backyard?
Well, I started off with soaking them in water, and then I started scraping off the poop with a poop knife, and then, oh god, I don't know. I think they're almost better. I don't know. I gotta get rid of the poop and then put them in the wash. I don't know.
Would I ever feel comfortable just putting your feet back in them? Like, to me, I feel like it's just like, oh, it's contaminated.
It's on the
Fuck that. I need a
outside.
new pair.
It's not on the inside. It's on the outside of the foot. I mean,
It gets into like the seams,
I
like
know
where the
it's there. I
fucking
need a toothpick it out. Like there's a toothpick. I just feel
there's a
bad about
difference.
throwing away good slippers. It feels terrible. I can't just throw something away like that. I might though. I probably will.
How has your week been? What have you been up to?
Huh. I played squash the last couple days. Um, what have I been doing? Oh,
Mm,
I'm breaking my travel ban. I put myself on a 12-month travel ban, which I knew I was going to break, but I attempted, and I'm doing a trip to see my nephews um, in
you know,
Vietnam with my parents. We booked.
why? Okay, there's a lot to unpack there that you just casually thrown out there. Why did you impose a travel ban on yourself?
Well, I realized that over the last 10 years, I've been moved so many times, and I've been doing so many trips, and it's disrupted my life. And I've just got behind on so many regular things that I told myself, as much as I'm a good traveler, I love traveling. Can I just take a break from it? Like I can, right? Can't I? So after Burning Man, I told myself take 12 months off traveling. Um, and I successfully did it. I didn't go to conferences. I didn't go to Christmas trips. I only did a ski trip, sure, like driving ski trip. My travel ban was for like big trips. Going across oceans and going away for a month and working remote and all those kind of things.
Is it fair to say you did it just to see what you truly liked? It's almost like, hey, I'm making sure that I'm just not being distracted for the sake of doing shit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
cut it all off, reintroduce it to see what you actually do and don't need, kind of thing.
yeah. I think I got so good at it that like I could. I stopped doing small, short trips. Right. I started doing month-long trips or 3-month-long trips where I would work while I was gone and I would cram in a bunch of stuff, but I would disrupt my whole life to do that kind of thing, right? And I got behind on taxes and dentist appointments and massage appointments and just being healthy, right? So just like playing
Yeah.
squash. So
I think travel can be unhealthy for sure because you're like eating out all the time and just like you're not in a routine. And generally, like most healthy things are a routine. You know what I mean?
yeah. So even me and my mom were trying to go to Mexico for a few days to get to the beach, and I don't know. I was having a hard time booking around my sports schedule. Her sports schedule too. So this sort of works out because it's after hockey playoffs, and I gotta miss squash playoffs, but that's okay. So I think it'll work out. So we're leaving in like mid-April. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Are we gonna have the pod
Yeah, of
from
course,
it?
of course. Yeah, I'm not giving up the pod.
Say,
We gotta keep doing the
you
pod.
bring the mic.
Yeah, well, I guess I gotta bring the mic. Maybe we can
You gotta
go.
bring the mic.
I gotta bring the mic. You're right. Yeah.
Brought the mic with me to Italy just in
You,
case.
you did. You did. That was driving, but yes, yes. I mean, I'll pay for an extra bag. I don't mind. Um,
Uh,
yeah. I think I could do it. No, I don't want to give up the pod. I want to do this every 2 weeks. It's so much fun. I love this. This
yeah,
is great. Yeah. So I don't know
it
if
is.
people know I got a nice mic, so maybe I sound slightly more intelligent or cohesive or?
Oh, that fix that, but your dumb shit will sound better to everybody else. So.
Ooh, wow, that's all that matters. Hey, you got a new webcam, did you?
New webcam, sharper version of me, maybe a slightly different angle. The colors are for sure more popping though than the fucking built-in laptop webcam. So
So, what do you have it mounted
yeah,
on right now?
it's literally sitting on a wine box. So I have two of that wine box,
Yep.
and it's just I put it sideways and just set the webcam on top of it because it's like perfect height for where my eyes are now.
Nice.
But it's dope. 60 euros. It's like super nice. So I think that's your next move also.
Uh-huh.
And we'll finally get like a guy to do thumbnails, and we'll turn the funniest parts of our pod into TikTok shorts.
You know what? A lot of the feedback has been it's too slow paced. Some people say that.
Oh,
And I think that's because we don't do any cuts, like we don't speed it up. And I think that's something we could do. Maybe there's like lulls in our conversation where we're supposed to like cut.
if those motherfuckers want to speed it up, they can play at
That's
1.5x. That's
what I
not
told them.
my fucking job.
Press 2x. What's the problem?
Speed the shit up then.
Why do you
Jesus.
just look at the timestamps and click on things you like? You know, I don't know.
That's because they're browsing, which we definitely condone them just listening to the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to slowly get better. I think the shorts might bring you into the ones you actually want to listen to. You know, you hear a short about something you actually like, and you're like, oh, I want to listen to that whole thing. And I think that's what's going to happen. So we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried.
I'm gonna talk faster. Oh, fuck that.
I'm not going to do work and do a whole bunch of video editing to make this pod, you know, successful. Hey, I got something though. You know Arlene Dickinson, right?
Oh, oh, we know her.
Everybody knows Arlene Dickinson. Arlene Dickinson punked the hell of us, by the way. Ah, she punked us
She
by.
punked us
Yeah, she.
again.
Well, she punked me on that show, on the Dragons Den special we were on together, when she came off the stage and stood beside us.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Are you still not over that?
I'm not over it. I'm not over it. I don't
No,
know.
I don't like her. I don't like her kid. I'll say that out loud in public. Fuck that guy.
Whoa, spicy day. Okay, well, I was gonna say, mad props to Arlene. She started a new show, and all I was gonna say is, we have roughly 2% of the amount of views that she has on our pro show, and I'm like, wow, we don't suck. That's awesome. Good for us.
I think we're more likable than her. So yeah.
You know what? I'll give her props. I like her new show. I like she's trying something new, getting off Dragon's Den. You know, that's a crutch. You know, that's CBC. That's a lot of editing. That's a lot of work. You know, doing the show that's yourself is hard, and it takes time to build it.
What's her new show about?
I don't. I shouldn't tell you. You'd light her up. You'd light her up, and I don't know if I should do this.
Maybe this is the pod that goes viral. Like Chang just lights up Dickinson's.
Hey, I have a bunch of spicy takes today. I wanted to. I wanted to take back my comment about not being able to beat Marvin at squash. You know, looking at those stats, I don't think that's true.
That's fine. I don't think anyone's keeping track of that. So sure.
Okay, wait. Arlene's show is called Alone with Arlene because
Oh God. That horror
because
movie?
because Arlene has been single for a long time, and she's
Yeah. No
suggesting
shit, huh?
she's suggesting she's happy and that
Uh-huh.
she has found a path to happiness through being alone. Oh man. But she had Tara Sloan on her show, and Tara Sloan also got us on the Breakfast Show for Christmas sweaters. So mad props to her. She's not alone. But Arlene was trying to tell her. You don't know who Tara Sloan is?
Should I?
Tara Sloan, I think, was. Remember that day you replaced me on the morning show? I think that was Tara Sloan.
She interviewed me?
I think so.
I didn't replace you because it still said Adil under my case. So.
It did. You replaced me. I can't believe I slept in.
Okay, so yeah, but like, who cares about a local breakfast celebrity? But anyway, okay, it's called Alone with Arlene. Yeah, I'm already bored.
Yeah, I mean, this is a an older demographic you're targeting. But I don't know. Like
Is
it's
it not? They have now like grandma bachelorette.
of
It's like who
course
wants to date grandma?
people are gonna live to 100, man. You gotta tie into this older demo. I get it. I get it. But good for her. And also, we're catching up. So let's do it. I mean, I think it's great.
I hope that's not the bar, but
Nah,
yeah.
it's not the bar. The bar. I mean, it's just an interesting. We're doing it for ourselves, and I'm having fun. This is fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I know for a fact people enjoy, some people, like maybe three, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like being in the room with you guys. Um, do we jump right into the politics? I really don't have, you know, I feel like I
Well, I mean, okay, wait, hold on a
control
second.
most of the show yesterday. Or not yesterday, but last week.
No, I loved it. Are you kidding me? That was great. Last pod was awesome. Are you kidding me? If my job is just to help you talk more, that's all I want to do. I want you to tell your stories great, and I think if I'm just here to laugh at your stories, that's great. That's all I want to do. Um, okay, why did I bring this guy's face up? I don't know. I just been it just it's people have been angry all week or the last couple weeks, and I don't really give a fuck, and I don't and it's
Who's
I don't know. People are just like Canadian or something.
who?
Okay, wait, sorry.
Canadians, yeah, yeah.
So people are like, I don't know, like talking about this tariff shit, and they're like talking about being angry and like, well, I can't buy a Tesla anymore, and like, I don't know, I gotta buy Canadian products or like something or other. Fuck that asshole. I don't know. There's a lot of people who are angry, and um,
Are they angry at Trump or are they angry at Musk? Or both? I think it's both, but
I think there's people across the spectrum. So people are angry at Trudeau. People are angry at our premier. People are angry at politics. It's just interesting. There's a lot of angry people out, and they're also making a lot of rash assumptions about what people are doing. And I just, I don't know. I just thought, can everybody calm down a bit? And, like,
I think there's, I obviously have a few thoughts on this, but you can go first if you want.
okay, I thought this was kind of comical. So I don't even, you don't live in Canada right now. So you know at the co-op, there's Canadian flags on products now because all the products that are from Canada are labeled as with a Canadian flag. So
I think all the grocery stores did that.
I didn't know all of them did it, but so I was at the ketchup aisle uh, 2 days ago, and okay,
Okay.
let me just I'm gonna show this picture maybe, but apparently there's like something about French's ketchup. I don't even know. I've never seen that ketchup. That doesn't exist here. But Heinz and No Name, right? But within Heinz, they have a Heinz factory apparently in Canada, and some of the Heinz products aren't from Canada. So if you look at the Heinz aisle right now, you'll see the squeezable ketchup that's Canadian branded, the big squeezable ketchup which isn't Canadian branded, the glass ketchup isn't Canadian branded, low sodium isn't Canadian, but the regular other one is Canadian, and it's just like, am I supposed to decide which ketchup bottle I'm picking based off of whether it's Canadian or not? And maybe we're all just trying to band together to give our government a little more power.
I think it's the sending the moral message. I mean, I think not buying ketchup isn't going to move the needle, but I do think tanking Tesla sales would move the needle. It's like Tesla's way down in Europe, so EV sales were up, but Tesla, like in Germany, because he's obviously been meddling the most with the far right politics here in Germany, Tesla sales are down like I think like 50 to 75% here. So like, I mean, people are voting with their wallets, which I think is the best way to vote, right?
Sure.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was on the board of Tesla, I would demand that Musk just like, I'm sure he doesn't. I mean, how can he be running the company right now anyway, right? He's just so busy in Washington.
Totally.
I would, if I was on the board, I'd fucking demand that he completely distance himself from Tesla because it's like losing sales because of a Musk affiliation is like bad for shareholders, right? Like, dude, people aren't buying their cars for no other reason than you're being like a giant dickbag. So,
Yep.
Isn't it weird also to see someone get completely radicalized in front of your eyes?
Ooh, see,
Like, I don't support
this
what
is the
he's doing.
spicy take here. See, this is interesting. I think we're maybe in disagreement about how what these guys did.
So,
Um, I don't think he got that radicalized at all, actually.
dude, he supported Sanders in 2016.
So
I
did
mean, he went
so did I.
full left or full right.
I mean, so did I. I
Sure.
I
I
supported
mean, he
Sanders.
obviously
Uh,
maybe radicalized strong word, but I think he definitely uh, did a 180, right?
weird. See, I don't think about it as a 180. You just choose the winning side. Why would you not?
Because your morals and ethics, and you have beliefs, and you choose the
But
party that aligns with your beliefs.
but the parties are evolving themselves, and they've changed over the years as well. But it's not just
Yeah,
that.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So I think the parties have evolved a substantial amount, but then also like power corrupts, and a party being too entrenched corrupts itself. So you just choose the winning side that you can influence the best, right? Isn't that the mo?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not fully against what he's doing because you have to admit the government is completely
Oh,
bloated, right?
way
And
too
nobody
bloated.
cuts, right?
Nobody cuts.
They add departments, you add people, you add agencies, but no one ever thinks to be like, we're shutting down this agency. It's like once you add something, it's in there forever, right? There's no, and he's always talked about this even before he did this. He always talked about there's no mechanism to actually remove stuff. So stuff only gets added to the tax code, but no one ever goes through it to like make it simpler. So like you could argue that like Doge, Doge,
Doge.
like Doge is like maybe the wrong way to do it, but I do think that it's like it's with like the right intentions of like shrinking this bloated government, right? Like that. I think that's his main problem.
Totally. So I agree. Okay, so here's what I think about it. I mean, I've worked so many startups, so we're so used to having lean teams. But in most big corporates, you have a bigger team than you need, and in most governments, you have a way bigger team than you need. So to me,
Right, but here's the thing, right? The government is it's under a different mandate, though, right? Like it can't fail like a startup can, right? Like the government has to work. You can't just like not have healthcare. So like
wait a
part of
second.
the bloat, part of the bloat is like ensuring that it doesn't fail, right? You have to have redundancy that a startup doesn't, right? Like so it's not
Without question,
necessarily.
I agree with that. But I think about it like I think about it like this. Um, if you look at the size of governments from 30 to 60 years ago, there's the head counts are just way higher. But it's not just that. On a per capita basis, on a GDP basis, the government is way too big pie of the economy. And that doesn't make any sense. It's not just about the government employees themselves, it's about the money they spend. And if the money they spend and control to private orgs is their money, then you have this gigantic piece of pie that is way too big. And then all of a sudden, your whole country isn't uh, businesses anymore. It's just all government work.
Yeah, I would say Europe suffers from that more. So yeah, we'll see. I think might not have been executed super smoothly, but I agree with sort of like the principles. I think the like the first principles behind that thinking,
So I see.
and I think other people are just pissed because the perception is that he basically bought his influence, right? Which he basically did.
He
He
did. He
donated
did.
$270 million. So I think also like regardless of who it is, and like Musk, he can't read the room. He's fucking
No way.
autistic or fuck.
Autistic.
It's like yeah, people are pissed that it's Elon. They're pissed that it's the richest guy in the world that he bought his influence, and then they're just pissed like at least say what you want about Trump. At least he was elected. I think people are just mad that he's like an unelected guy that's able to like call so many shots, right? Because no one elected. Musk wasn't on the ballot for anybody, so.
Totally. I think that's fair.
With any
I mean, so sort of how I see it is, if there was a 10-person team right now, it's optimal at five or even three. So if there was 30,000 people, it's optimal at 10,000 people or even 15,000 people. So how do I get from a 30,000 person team to a 10,000 person team? I, you just have to slash. It's the only way. How else do you do it? But that's my opinion.
Lots of presumptions in that statement because you'd have to presume that I agree with you. I don't think too many things are 50% inefficient. That's pretty heavy. That's saying one of the two of us in this podcast are not necessary.
Totally. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying with the government. I'm saying they're that bloated. They're that bloated.
To be honest, I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I don't really have a great respect for government people because I think they took the easy route. But then like government people are also like teachers and nurses, right? Like they work for the government, so it's like it depends if you're like a bureaucrat or like
I just care about the bureaucrats. I don't. Same amount of teachers, same amount of police officers. You know, just
like for example in Alberta when I officiated a wedding last year, right? There's like literally like a person that just like authorizes whether or not I can officiate a wedding, and it's like, why is that person needed? Like, it's like, what are they doing? They're just like rubber stamping letters. Like, am I ever gonna get rejected to be like, hey, I want to officiate my friend's wedding, and yet there's like a person that does that? To me, that feels like it could be something that could be automated. But, but yeah, I would say like just the way Musk has been doing it where he cuts first, like he rather errs towards cutting too deep and then rehiring. That rubs people the wrong way because other people would prefer if you just tiptoed into it instead of. But he's like, break it first, then fix it, right?
Totally.
Whereas other people would say, okay, we're gonna slowly trim back until we start feeling pain. So it's just like two ways to attack the same problem, right?
Yeah.
So,
you know, I think that's fair, and I think there's casualties actually. I feel like some of those airline incidents are like casualties almost. You know.
well, the control tower thing has always been identified a problem before, but when you stress out those workers, of course. And I think my problem with Trump is that the way he conducts himself, there's a certain meanness to it, right? He's a cruelty in the way that he does his actions, and like I'm not down for that at all. Like you can still do stuff and be effective without the cruelty that is like inherent to everything.
Can you give an example of that? Can you give an example of the cruelty? I'm just curious.
The deportations or like um, cutting off U.S. aid, right, and just saying, who cares about Lesotho? And he's just like, oh, we're helping fucking countries nobody's ever heard about, right? It's like, yeah, well, the people in there have obviously heard about their country. Like he's just like, if I don't know about you, you don't matter, right? It's it's narcissistic, of course, but so he has a cruelty in the way that he conducts his business. It's obvious, and like, there's just like no need to be so unkind as you care about your day. It's not like it doesn't impact him. He's already like, he's got diplomatic immunity. I don't think he's as rich as he says he is, but he's made a ton of money in his presidency, scamming people with his fucking meme coin and his wife's meme coin. So yeah, he's just like, there's a certain finesse to doing stuff, right? It's like, why do we like Roger Federer the best in tennis, right? It's because he just made it look like art. Like there's more than one way to win, but Trump wins in like a very ugly way, and I just like can't get behind that, and I never will.
Interesting. It's a good perspective. Yeah. Huh. I never thought of it like that.
It's like what kind of goal scorer are you, right? Are you Gretzky, or are you the guy who has like no front teeth because your whole job is like tip the puck in front of the net? Like one is better than the other, right? Like.
I don't know. I don't know if one is better than the other, but I get the analogy, and I think that's interesting. I like the way you put it. You put it very elegantly. Huh. It's interesting.
Yeah, is he right about some things? For sure. But just the way he goes about it is like, it's mean. It doesn't read the room. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he doesn't read the room, right? Because he only cares about himself.
Have you ever watched him 20 or 30 years ago? Like when he was younger? Like clips of it?
No, because I actually don't really like him, so like no.
So to me, it looks like he's not like that. If you look at the clips from ages ago, um, but I might be wrong. I think this
And
is
like, will we ever? Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a weird concept. You know, you've heard this saying before. It's never meet your heroes, right? Have you never,
Yes.
have you never heard that before? I've heard
I'm,
that. I've heard.
I'm probably fine in each. And yeah, no problem.
I mean, just
Or Arlene Dickinson.
don't meet your heroes. That's the rule. Don't meet your heroes because um, I don't know how to explain that one. You're just not supposed to because
Yeah, I know. I've heard the saying. I get it.
um, what I'm getting at is I don't know what I'm getting at. To get to the upper echelon of the top 0.0001%, maybe it filters for ruthlessness.
Trump? Dude, he was just the son of Fred Trump. What are you talking about? You're acting like he fucking crawled his way to the top.
Well, I'll give Trump props that if you look at his appreciation wealth from when he got his dad's money to now, it's still not an impressive ROI. Like, I don't
Oh,
I don't think it's not. How many rich kids have you tutored, Chris? Like, I mean, come
how
on.
many what?
How many rich kids have you tutored?
I think in my lifetime, I think you got all the rich ones though.
Oh,
I think I got fewer of the rich ones. I've also had like, I know we're going off on a tangent here. I've also had students that like, you could tell they were saving up to buy my services, which I like really appreciated, right? Because like we charged a decent amount, but I'm like, you could tell like it was like we can't really afford this, but fuck, like the future of our kid is like mega important, and I respect the fucking shit about that. But you had like the rich.
oh, I didn't realize you
I
had rich
had
kids.
fewer.
Wow, I thought you
I had
had.
fewer.
Oh, interesting.
No, no, no. I went to like pretty like I was tutoring out of like Hawkwood and like really normal middle class neighborhoods.
Okay,
I don't know why.
okay. So all the rich kids I tutored, they had a really hard time because they have such a big shadow, from their parents. Um,
Mm.
it was gigantic. Like they had harder time than regular kids because they felt so nothing. They felt so nobody. I could feel it out of them.
It's kind of a trope. I don't know. Like the handful of rich ones I did have were like super nice and down to earth too. And it's just like also you gotta give credit to like is that what a healthy upbringing produces? Like shit, some kids are just like also like so well behaved. They're fucking polite. They know how to like deal with adults, right? So I think how many students do you think we've tutored though? Like I think my number is probably 100 to 150. Like at the end of the day, like the sample size is still too small to just be like to say like all rich kids.
Yeah, it's generalized. I mean, I saw two brothers and they were different. So I mean, I get that there's tons of different like caveats whether you're a firstborn or a secondborn or how your parents' feeling was when you were being raised. I think there's a lot of things. I'm not really trying to generalize, but I guess I just don't.
I would say like seeing how Musk's kids will turn out will be interesting because they obviously we're in the digital age, right? So they're all kind of in the public eye. So like
All 13 of them, 14 of them. I don't know. Who knows now?
14 now, yeah, no. You got to give credit to Musk that he at least is like consistent, right? Like he's doing things he's always said, right? He's always thought smart people need to have more kids, and he obviously thinks he's smart, so he's just like procreating like crazy. Like I don't think he's really like changed. Fundamentally he's the same guy. It just comes out in ways that are like off-putting to people.
No, you know his primary goal, right? He has one.
Like,
Um, I think actually think about it even more simplistically. So he just wants a greenhouse on Mars. So I know that sounds there's a difference in goal set there, But he wanted to build a greenhouse on Mars 20 years ago. But I think of that problem as the same problem as we have now. Yes, you can send a greenhouse to Mars, but it won't survive very long. So you want to send a greenhouse to Mars that survives, obviously. So it's the same goal. I know it's colonized Mars. That's what everybody thinks it is now, but it's actually just greenhouse to Mars. And that's not fucking easy. It's so hard.
No. Well, that's why he's doing Starlink and all the other ones, right? He's like, okay, well, first of all, to do the thing I really want, I need a self-sustaining rocket company that just earns money doing rockets.
He also needs a government that backs him. So he's trying to go for that too, right? Like, how do you start launching 1,000 rockets to Mars every 2-year cycle?
He needs that. Yeah, but he needs the government backing because no other entity launches rockets, right? Like even NASA, it's like NASA or the DoD. So it's like who else is there's not enough private business, which is why he needs to be in the government.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I don't think it's about government money. I think it's about government approval. Like
it's 100% government money, dude.
Huh.
Like him doing all the government satellites, doing launching for NASA, doing space station stuff. There's not enough private dollars out there for any space company.
Interesting. Okay, wait. Hold on a second. I know there's some government funding, but it was always my understanding that it was already in place prior to him existing. Like NASA already had a yearly budget, and he just was the best RFP. So I don't know if he's captured more of NASA's budget in terms of increased NASA's budget over the years. He built Starlink on his own, but I don't think he's captured more growth in NASA's budget. It's just the same budget. Isn't that right? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
Not sure. Well, I don't think anyone else is building rockets though. Like they're not using ULA rockets. I think it's just strictly SpaceX rockets.
But it's because the ULA rockets suck, right? They've been trying to build that for they got 50% of the same budget, but they suck.
Or you just took market share from the budget.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still that's not what I'm arguing. I'm just saying it's government work. You can't build a rocket company on non-government work.
Can't you? Starlink is worth it. No.
That's not how he started, man. It would not have paid off. He didn't do that until he was sure his rockets would work.
Sure enough. So it is government funded. You're right. Got it.
Yeah. His first 3 failures were funded by the government, and they kept funding him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Shit. Huh. Oh, I didn't realize that. Got it. Huh.
Yeah, he was backstopped by NASA contracts. Got it. It's like your customers aren't gonna prepay you for a service that may or may not exist, right? Like only the government can do that.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, I hope he doesn't. Like, I wouldn't mind maybe double the budget on space, but I don't want him to make this not sustainable. I want him to do it with my 200 grand I want to go to Mars with, you know? Like, I want him to do it with people's money, not with government money. I just want the government maybe to not regulate him too hard. But I don't know. You see the launch 2 days ago? They did a launch.
No, I didn't actually see it, but I saw it blew up.
Yeah,
and then people on Reddit.
Yeah, of course.
They hate him.
Yeah, of course they hate him. Reddit hates.
But that's like they're unrelated, right? It's like again, there's a bunch of people at SpaceX trying to make this work. It's not just Elon, right? So I think rooting against SpaceX is like, it's like focused towards the wrong thing.
Yep.
And that's the other problem too, right? It's like, I also use this as like a filter when people are like, "Oh, Elon's an idiot." I'm like, no, he's not. He's like actually an extremely good engineer. So if you can't separate that with like politics of what he's doing, we can't have a conversation because it's like he's not an idiot. He's not a fucking moron.
Okay, this is like the religion filter. I mean, similar, but yeah, I know, I agree. I think people are emotional and
totally emotional. But it's like you can acknowledge that he's a great engineer, great businessman.
Yeah.
You can, like, I'm not a fan. I think he's tarnishing his reputation from what he's doing in the last year or so.
This seems to happen with billionaires. They go through a love cycle and then they go through a fucking everybody hates him cycle.
Ates went the other way though, right? He bought back his love with charitable giving. Because he was a ruthless bastard when like Microsoft was like undergoing like antitrust and monopoly things. Now he's like, oh, I'm just old grandpa now that like solves polio, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's possible to go the other way, and who knows? Maybe Elon will.
Yep.
Um, Bezos went full like finance bro, testosterone. I'm gonna just party with my like plastic girlfriend kind of thing.
Yep.
So he did a bit of a 90-degree turn as well, because he was just like, you see him, like the Elon PayPal, where you see his balding head. He's just like this nerd that like invented internet money. But Bezos was the same thing, right? There's like this super nerdy photo of him out there where he's like, I just want to sell books. And then like now he's just like ripped with like too tight t-shirts with like his aviators. Like,
Do you need hair transplants to maintain your image as you get old as a dude? Like, oh god, is that a requirement?
bro, no. I mean, but what do I know? Like, I can't. They charge me double. They cut so much hair every time they cut my hair.
Yep.
But like, if it makes you feel more confident, it's like it's like implants. I think for women, right? If you feel more confident because you have hair, like Daniel DeGrowning is like not shy about having done them, right? He's like, yeah, I like having hair, and I went and did it, and it looks good. And honestly, so does Elon's actually. Like, that's like top, right? But like, you could go to Turkey for like 10 grand. That's like one of their main exports.
Yep.
So
Turkey for hair, Korea for plastic surgery.
islands. But like, I don't judge, man. If you do something that's gonna make you feel good, and you can afford it and whatever, right? It's like, how's anything different than like owning clothes or shoes? It's just like part of your how you want to like express outwardly. I don't know.
That's a good way to think about it. I really like your take there. Actually, that's really wise. I never thought this too difficult, and that's wise. I like it.
Yeah, I'm very non-judgmental, right? It's like if you do something that doesn't impact me, why the fuck do I care?
Huh.
And if it's not like unethical, if you're like implanting the hair of child slaves or something, right? We stole these from the iPhone kids in Foxconn, and now you have children's hairs in your body. It's your own ass hair, then whatever. Who cares?
Yep. No, that's a good way to think. No, that's interesting. Anything else you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
Man, not much. Just like been I've had a good 2025 so far, so I'm just like in a pretty like content mood, bro. Like really feel like I'm settling in. I went to like a house party last night, which was awesome. Um like first house party of Dusseldorf. It was like kind of bumping. That's really funny, right? It's like it's interesting to think about like the patterns that I have, and I'm almost like in this place of like just reproducing the patterns I had in Calgary, where it's like making a bunch of friends, being like the guy who knows a lot of people. So like, fuck, dude, of my 10 friends I have here now, let's say I have like 6 friends and like 6 acquaintances. Like, one of them owns a hotel here in Dusseldorf, like her
Wow.
family does. So it's like,
Wow.
if you visit, I'm just gonna be like,
Yes, please.
go here, go to my friend's hotel. And maybe they give you a deal, maybe they don't, but you want to support your friends anyway, right?
Oh,
And then I just met a guy who opened up a ramen shop in Cologne. So it's like, yeah, fine. This was kind of cool.
Nice.
It's like, I don't know, old patterns coming back with the same outcomes, just like a different skin on like where you are. It's kind of. So,
Oh, man, I've been telling people you've been driving over there, man. I think you're doing great.
ooh, not from a lack of effort though. Like I really
Oh, I
do
know.
put in effort to like make that happen. But I think I'm like also like as I get older, I'm a better person. So it's like, why shouldn't I also attract these types of people? Because like, you've known me for a long time. Like I was kind of a dick in my 20s, right? Like much more than I am now.
Oh, you know what? I enjoyed your bluntness and your directness. But yes, occasionally it was.
There's my therapist that fixed me with one fucking line. He's just like, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, yo, I'm just super direct, man, blah, blah, blah. He's like, just because you're direct doesn't give you like a license to be an asshole. Like, it's still possible to be direct and not be like a total dick about it.
Totally.
And that single line was like worth, you pay them so much money and you really, if in an hour you get one or two nuggets that you can really like action, that's all it's like, that's the whole money's worth, right?
Oh,
So
that's beautiful. No, like I think what you said earlier. It takes work. Everything takes work. It's nothing comes for free.
sure.
You gotta put the time in. You gotta grind. You have to be consistent. It's not easy. So I mean, I was thinking about
Once
it
you
because I was talking about telling you earlier this week. I'm trying to practice singing, and I don't know if you know
practice
this or not.
singing,
I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a
dude, that's
terrible
hard.
singer. This is a skill I suck at. I've always been trash at singing. I've always been trash at music. I'm terrible at it. And I don't know. My goal is to join your karaoke club one day in the distant future.
You don't have to be good to join that though. You just have to like karaoke. But
Well, I would like to
there is a
not
there is a
entirely suck, but yes. Go ahead.
there is a woman in the karaoke club where she's actually good, and like, you have that competitiveness where you follow her, you're like, fuck me, Jesus, like, right, like this crowd is wow, they're so happy, and then like you go on and just like, you know they're just like politely clapping, like, but yeah, singing I think is like a crazy vulnerability. Like, I actually like the thought of getting voice lessons is like, it's like cringy to me. Like, I don't think I'm ready for it. Like, causes me anxiety. Um, the other piece of advice I got to singing well is like, we're obviously not going to be Mariah Carey. Like, we're not going to hit some crazy 6 octave range, right? It's actually not to sing the songs you like, but to sing the songs that are actually in your range, right? So if it's in the right key, in the right pitch, in the right style, then you can do better. Like, for me, like, I really like doing Red Hot Chili Peppers, because it's like, they're a rock band, right? They're not blowing you away with just the vocals, so it's like easier to sing to. Yeah,
I think that's what I'm learning as well. It took me a while to learn this. I have tons of anxiety about singing in front of other people, and
really.
I've always avoided it, and I've always kind of hid from it. Um, I opened up a bit when I was in Japan. I think what I did was okay. One of the teacher friends I made, we just got really close, and karaoke is really popular in Japan. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, me and him decided to go to karaoke after an onsen day once. I think it was just me and him. Another person came, but they didn't come to karaoke, and I tried to sing, and the nice thing about my anxiety wasn't there because I don't know this guy very well. I'm in a foreign country. What's the worst that can happen? So I was kind of like trying to let loose a bit, and I tried to sing a bunch of songs that I like, and I learned really quickly. I don't know the lyrics. First of all, I can't remember where the words go, and they're not my style. I don't have the vocal range or the speed. I don't
What made you, like, what catalyzed this? Like, why now? Why do you want to learn?
It's just been on the back of my bucket list of things to do. I learned a couple hacks, which was what you said earlier, which was sing the songs you are able to sing because of your vocal range.
Mm-hmm.
So I started singing in the car and the shower more, and uh, I realized that Spotify has lyrics, which I didn't realize until recently in the last year. So I was like, oh, that makes it easier. Let's try that. Uh, so I realized there's certain songs that are way easier for me to sing, and even though my memory's terrible, if I put in the work, I might be able to get there. But I don't know. I have a hard time memorizing.
Well, you don't have to, in karaoke. You don't have to. Like, I mean, the words are
Yeah,
on the
you do.
screen.
Yeah, you do. Because they don't
But
appear in the way you think they're gonna appear. Like I'm always early or late to the stupid word.
then they color it, and you see like the pace of it
Ah,
filling up with
only
color, right?
only if you're a good one. If the dots are there, like if the 3 dots are telling you, okay, it's not coming, it's not coming, it's coming. Like now it's coming, right? But there's a lot of lyrics
That's
that aren't like that.
And then a lot of songs just have filler, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
la 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 la, and
What
like
the
you know, like
fuck?
what am I supposed to do there? You have to actually know the song.
And also choruses change. Like there's like a chorus you think is gonna be the chorus, but there's a different ending or there's a different beginning, and it's like ah, and you gotta realize like okay, this isn't obvious. I mean, this is what I was trying to explain to you previously was that my memory isn't very good. That's why we were at that audition for Dragon's Den for the after part. I couldn't recite what they told me to recite because I can't remember. I don't have the ability to recite from memory.
But I think song hits a different part of your brain, which is why people use songs for like mnemonics, right? Like you can actually sing. That's why the alphabet is a song, right? So like teach kids the letters.
It is.
But who I don't actually, I'm not actually convinced you're literate. So like it's possible you don't even actually know the alphabet song.
I don't know the alphabet song. What's the
What?
alphabet?
A B
Oh
C
yeah, of course. But I
D.
don't sing it ever.
Yeah.
What? Why would I ever sing that? Oh my god.
Alphabet song.
Oh, I think I
Yeah.
missed that day.
I'm not surprised. I remember in university when you told me like you never learned how to write letters,
Yeah.
like in the right order, you know, like in with the brush strokes in the right way.
I never learned it. I never learned an E the proper way. Nobody corrected my E's until you corrected my E's. I write E's correct now, I think.
I don't
Somehow.
remember that like fucking 20 years ago, man. Yeah, it's like you start with a line and then you draw the C around it to make
Okay.
a nice E.
I realize why I missed those days though, because I was in ESL. So
Oh,
so because I had a speech impediment when I was in
it's
grade
ironic.
yeah, grade one, grade two, grade three, instead of going to English class, I would go to ESL class, where they would improve my vocal abilities. But I would miss
What
the
was your
regular English.
what was your speech impediment? I can't remember if I remember that or know it.
Well, it's because I have a cleft palate. So
Mm.
I had a few surgeries as a kid when I was like just after I was born, and then I had one at 12 or whatever, or 10 or something. So it made my speech difficult. I had a really hard time pronouncing a T and an H together. That was like the hardest thing.
Oh, it's a problem here as well because you know like Germans they say Z like Z instead of the
Oh,
because actually because it's honestly just learning the shape that your mouth needs to make with your tongue and your teeth and where it is because like in German I have the same problem with ich like ich like I because it you actually have to put your tongue like in the back of your mouth and then put air around it
whoa.
and like Japanese people and Germans have a hard time saying the th sound because you're actually biting your tongue and then blowing through it. If you actually think about how you pronounce th,
Right.
it's like
Got it, got it.
right. So it's like okay, if your mouth isn't used to making those shapes, of course you're not going to be able to pronounce it right. So like I think it can all be learned though, and obviously whatever they did for you worked because like I don't think you have a speech impediment now.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for me, but I think I missed some of the early English classes that were the basics of letters, right? And it's funny that I missed one piece and learned another piece, and you know, it's. I mean, the adage is today I learned, you know, the thing that nobody taught me, right? Like from Reddit. I think it's
But of course you could, but of course you could just Google it and be like, hey, what is the right way to write all 26 letters, right?
but this is the same problem with people trying to teach English to Japanese people. You know, you're trying to teach them it, and you're just like, wait, I don't even know why this is the case. I just grew up with it, and I know English because everybody spoke English around me, but I don't actually know what a, I don't know, what's a word that I don't know? Like, what a conjugated verb is? I don't know, whatever those things are called. You know, like, you don't
But in
actually,
English, you don't. You just like I run, but it's not like if he runs or she runs, it's different kind of thing, right?
yeah, your level of English is above my level of English. I don't know, I was not a great English teacher. I was a good fun teacher. That was my job in Japan, just being fun, not actually teaching English.
It's actually wild that you taught English. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
So I'll give you. Uh, my partner taught junior high, right? So she was teaching a higher level of English, and I taught elementary school, which was just hello, how are you?
You're
Nice to
just
meet you.
tracing hand turkeys, just like the elementary school kids do here.
Yep.
You're the guys that were about that.
Hey, but I got top marks. Okay, I was a great English teacher. Everybody loved me.
Would you would you actually stop doing that? Like, would you do that again or not?
I do it again. It was fun. Um,
Did you just stop because of COVID, right, or some other reason?
um, yeah, we were gonna do another. Okay, so we only signed a 7 month contract, which is awesome, by the way, because it was really intimidating. First of all, to go in your 30s as an English teacher, that's too much. I mean, it's a lot in your 30s, right? Most people go in their 20s, but 7 month contract. How do you go wrong with a 2 year visa to Japan, right? Like, let's go. That sounds awesome. So our plan was to do 7 month contract and then go travel a bunch and then maybe go some more. We got a job offer in Hokkaido for both of us. So that was our we were hoping to delay them till like the fall, but then COVID happened right as our contract was
Right, and
expiring.
okay, and then you just were like, fuck it, just go back to Canada, kind of thing.
Wow, stayed in Okinawa for a few months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. So, like, were your taxes? Because I'm going through this right now, but like, were your taxes fucking complicated then? Like, because you worked abroad and you weren't a Canadian tax resident.
So similar to what I heard from Italy is you get a tax break for your first year as a Japanese visa holder. Like you don't have to pay any tax for your first or second year.
I mean, what about your Canadian stuff? Did you
So
just sever all of that, or?
so what I did, was I just was never an expat. I was still a resident and never got rid of my residency. And I just claimed my income as world income on my Canadian tax return. So I just never severed, right? Um,
But if you're out of Canada for 6 months, maybe I'm publicly.
you're right. You got it.
But if you're like for me, like if I'm out of Canada for 6 months, I actually can't be. I can't be a Canadian tax resident.
But I came back in between there for a quick trip. I think.
Mm.
You're right. You're right. I was gone for a total of 11 months, and I think I stepped foot in Canada between those times. I think you're totally right. Officially, I'm supposed to be a non-resident, but I mean, in the spirit of the law, I mean, I still had some money being made in Canada. I didn't cut any ties. I don't think you have to, but I might be wrong about that. It's not like it was more of a fun trip, if anything. But you're right. I could have.
Probably more cut and dry for me, where I'm like physically not living in Canada, literally earning currency. I don't know.
Totally.
They're, they're super fucking complicated this year, like for 2024. I would say I'm like 10% stressed out about it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to bitch about my taxes, but it's like the CRA. Come on, it's just like that's what I mean though. It's like looking this all back. It's like, can they just simplify the fucking tax code? Like Jesus, like why is it? You have to know like every single nuance, and if you don't, you gotta hire these fucking professionals, right? It's just like they cost an arm and a leg, dude. Like, and just like if you want to collect my money to fund the government, just like why not make it as easy as possible? It's like it's the only part. Like if a business made it this hard for a customer to give them money, like they would just go out of business, right? Like, but like the CRA is just like, here's the tax code. It's fucking 10,000 pages, like, and it's your job to learn it. And if you don't learn it, we're gonna like fine you or arrest you. Just easy.
Yeah. A lot to unpack there. I think. Oh, it's not a great system. Um, Definitely needs streamlining. You just need to get into the internet age, to be honest. Like all these systems just need to be automated. You know, it sounds like it should be totally able to be upgraded, but I
I
get
mean,
it.
I'm
It's
still fascinated to parts of the CRA. I mean, if you're a normal person, employee, I actually think the CRA system's quite good. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
you can sign in with your bank, you can see all your old shit. It's when your taxes are like, if you're a business owner or you're like,
yeah.
you got special circumstances like I do, then you go deep enough and it's back to like,
Oh
send
yeah.
us the facts. I'm like, I don't even know if you got it. Like,
Oh my god.
there's no confirmation.
Oh, I'm going through that right now. My sister actually for like a little bit of a. They're auditing a property she sold, and it's just frustrating. You're right. It's definitely out of date. Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
think I don't really know how your system works, but yeah, for me it was I just didn't become a non-resident. That was my solution to it because I did not want to mess. I didn't want to just create paperwork for no
I,
reason. I just
I
paid tax
have done
on
that.
my income, right, to Canadian government. I just didn't care, right?
Yeah, but the key is like if you were paying Japanese tax, what you don't want to be is taxed twice, right? So
So, yep. The nice thing is we didn't make that much, so it was not that relevant, right? It's sort of how I saw it.
mm,
Like we were pretty we were under a lot of thresholds. It wasn't a big deal. It looked like at least to me. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. I considered trying to move to Japan and trying to get like an engineering job, and I walked. I tried to open some of those doors to see what it would look like, and then I of course would do the proper paperwork. But yeah, for you, I mean, with
yeah,
residences and ties, it must be annoying.
super annoying. And there's special, specific tax codes if you're a property owner. Like that just applies only to property owners because they're trying to curb like the foreign investment, right?
Totally,
Because everyone's like, oh my
totally.
god, fucking Chinese people, blah blah blah. I think I'm just like caught up in that, right? Like I'm subject to those rules, but the rules aren't actually designed for me. They're designed for like
Totally.
people trying to park their money and not pay capital gains taxes and things like that.
Totally.
So
Totally.
yeah, it's just if I had known, right? Like you don't know what you don't know because when I move, I'm not just like I didn't research like all the tax implications that I would have to face, right?
Yep.
So it's been a headache, but yeah, it is what it is. Got to wear a T-shirt today, so I guess it's worth it.
I'm
Yeah,
not crying over you, buddy. Not at all. But it sounds like you're having tons of fun.
yeah, it's been good. Really feel like truly settling in for 2025. So yeah, it's definitely nice.
So you know, I haven't been back to 11 years ago. Do you know where you were 11 years ago?
25. So in 2014, where the fuck were we? I went to Iceland in 2014 in June. Is this something you and I did?
Yep.
2014. What did we do in 2014 together?
We were in a country together um, that I'm going back to in a month. And we stayed in some hostels. One of them we couldn't book anymore because we ran out of time and had to stay somewhere where you didn't want to stay. In a really dumpy bunk bed and a single bed in a district in town way off the strip. Well, I still don't know.
Man,
How do you not
I
remember this?
purged
Oh my god.
a country.
Where were you born, Chris?
Hong Kong.
Yeah, 2014 we were in Hong Kong.
Was it
Okay,
2014?
maybe
I
I
thought it
get it
was
wrong.
later, man. I think it was 15 and then 16. Am I crazy?
Okay, maybe I'm crazy.
I
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Oh god, maybe I'm crazy. Take it back. I'm going.
Because we went to Japan not 10 years ago. It was like 8, 9 years ago. Because we did Hong Kong and then Tokyo, right?
We did?
We did Hong Kong and then Japan. Or I
No,
did
we
Hong Kong
didn't.
and then Japan.
No, we didn't. What?
Hmm.
Am I going
Man, dude,
crazy?
what
Oh
did we
god.
do in Hong Kong together?
Okay, well, a lot of stuff. Yeah, well, okay. What are we doing in Hong Kong? We stayed in Bangkok. We stayed in.
Yeah.
We went to TST. We smoked some shisha. We went to that party with those like sparklers and that. Oh god, your friend invited us. Your poker our poker friends invited us to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Maybe that wasn't 2014. I might take it back. The reason why I thought it was because 11 years ago I went to see Jack in Shenzhen, and I thought I saw
Right.
you afterwards or before.
I think you were in Thailand before, then you met me in Hong Kong.
You might be right. I think
Could be
after I
wrong.
left you, I went to go see Jack. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember anything anymore.
We just living two privileged lives. We literally can't remember where the fuck we were together.
Oh God.
I don't. You know what, dude? I would have totally forgot that we went to Hong Kong together, though.
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that was 11 years ago. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, what the fuck did we do?
So we stayed at that 21 person hostel. There was 3 stories of people in this hostel. It was 21 people, but it was really organized. It was beautifully organized.
I was pissed off at you because we were at actually a good hostel in Hong Kong
I remember.
Island that
Yes.
had like a nice patio, and you're like, well, I just want to change it. And it was like, dude, you don't know good until you have it.
No, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. That's why we stayed in Mongkok because we couldn't book any more nights. Because I wanted
Right.
to see if we tried something else, and then we stayed in Mongkok, which was a really terrible hostel. It was terrible. But
I might have just purged that rain, man.
we got to check out Mongkok when there was a night market there. It was a whole different side of town. I enjoyed it. Um,
Yeah, totally.
uh,
Clearly, I totally forgot it, but you know,
maybe you
yeah,
drink too much.
it's a privilege. Yeah, that kind of shit, man, dude. I feel lucky, right? I've done so much shit. It's like, man, the memories just start. Well, maybe it's the drinking, just your brain cells are just like, fine.
Well, I realized. So with this trip, I'm also going to go see Jack again. Uh, in Shenzhen. I don't know how to pronounce that. How do I pronounce Shenzhen correctly?
Yeah, that's right. Shenzhen, Shenzhen, Shenzhen.
Shenzhen.
It's all right.
Uh, yeah, I said desire to go check it
Is that
out.
where he is? Is that where he is now?
No, no, he lives sometimes in Taiwan. He lives sometimes in Shenzhen. Sometimes he's back home. He flies around.
How long are you gonna go to Vietnam for?
This trip will be about a month. So half and
With your mom only?
mom, dad, and then I'll go see
Nice.
Jack
That's
for
sick, dude.
yeah.
Fuck, man. You gotta enjoy that while you can. It's so special, actually, that they're like willing to actually do like big transocean trips with you.
Yeah, man. They want to. I mean, my mom badly wants to go to a beach, but she's a beach snob like me, and real like wants the perfect beach. And she's been tripping me all winter about let's go to a beach, and we were
Cuba's way closer.
yeah, it is. It totally is, and maybe it's a nice beach too. But yeah, I mean, going to see the grandkids is so important, man. I mean, while they're kids and
Isn't some onus on your sister to bring them back? But your sister always seemed to be like she's just doing her own thing. And she's like, yeah, if you want to visit me, good, but I'm just gonna be doing my own shit, you know?
she's grown up a lot since then. Since we were in Singapore together, you know,
Okay.
she's way more chill now. They are actually planning a trip in the summer here, and hopefully she was going to stay over at my place. Um, so
Oh, nice. Right, you said you were renovating for that kind of purpose, right?
yeah, exactly. So no, I think she's gotten a lot more chill. I think one blockage she had in her mind is she's like, I don't like Calgary. That was her in her mind. That she's like, I escaped that place. Why the fuck am I going back there? Right? I think that was a mental blockage. And
What does she not like about it?
I think she imagines it being boring, cold, and like that's her imagination, and like just not fun. Like full of childhood memories. I don't know, but like
But she left it that sucked though. Like it's much like the last 10 years have been like really good for Calgary, I would say.
oh yeah. So you know
She
her.
probably remembers a different Calgary.
I think that's what it is. You know her husband when they came. I don't know a handful of years ago. Her husband loved Calgary. I think he'd move here, but I think she had a blockage, and I think she'll unlock that one of these days. You know, it'll just happen. I think.
I mean, if you can't go to all these cool places around the world, I mean, honestly, Calgary's not. it's a nice city, but it's like it's not a world city, right?
Not a world
Like
city.
I know because I tell people I'm from Canada, and they always just guess Toronto, Vancouver, right? Like no,
Yeah.
you have to always explain where Calgary is in relation to where it is. And then it's like the same fucking conversation. Oh, Calgary? Yeah, it's by the Rockies. It's an hour from Vancouver. Like, what's an hour in like 1,000 kilometers? Like, oh my god, Canada's so big. It's like, yeah, we're huge. Blah blah blah. It's just like it's the same.
I've had this conversation way too many times. Oh God,
Oh, I've had
it's
it like 100 times.
oh God.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's kind of like Munich. You know, you can sort of see the mountains are an hour away, but it's really not like Munich because people have heard of Munich. So
Yeah. Can we turn
yeah.
Calgary into a world class city? Is that possible?
Ooh, I think it'll be very hard. Transit, bro. Like you can't shuttle tourists around if you don't have. There's no airport train, dude. You can't.
I would love to see that happen. I love Calgary. And I would love to bring Vancouver here because I miss Vancouver, and I would like to.
Yeah. What's the best part of Vancouver? Just the density, or
Beach volleyball, Kitsilano. No question about it.
oh right. Okay, so like you want to pick up beach volleyball because so it's climate related. Like here you can play pick up basketball, but dude, I hear you though, man. It's like oh shaky. Like the fact that like my outdoor tennis season is starting like in 2 weeks. Sick.
Sick.
You're gonna get like 6 months of playing on clay outside for nothing. Like it costs nothing because like there's courts everywhere here. It's fucking just super sick.
Amazing.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Um. Yep. Okay, Vancouver definitely climate made a difference. It wasn't cold at night. It's lush. Pick up beach volleyball. That's my describing how the density is actually possible, right? Like the density of the people in Kitsilano is so dense that you can have,
People just want to
200
go there to hang
people.
out.
Yeah, it's that feeling of during COVID. You know how the parks were all bumping in Calgary. I feel like it's a bit of that. I think you don't have it as much here, and even where I live, which is in a fairly hip part of town, it's still kind of sleepy at night.
I think two things Calgary could do to really improve that though. I mean, you can't control the climate, so it is what it is, right? But number one, fucking public drinking. What is our problem with that?
Obviously,
Like
obviously.
here, everyone does it. It's not a free for all. Like they're just like, yeah, I want to have a beer while I go for a walk in the sun. Like right, and you don't have to pay $8 a pint. You just take your own bottles with you.
Obviously a winner.
But
Obviously a winner. Yep.
and then Calgary's really, and I think a lot of cities are, but it's like if you're a business like a restaurant, you have to like get a license to get a patio. Like feels to me like if you're any business here, you can just put out a table and two chairs as long
Totally.
as you're not blocking
You
the
should. You
area.
should be
And
able
there's
to.
like
Yeah.
serve people outside now. It's like, dude, why is that so hard? And like in Calgary, you have to have the barriers around the patios, which is like optically it's a terrible idea because it already creates separation when you actually want to integrate the pedestrian traffic into your restaurant and like feel like this
Totally.
cafe is accessible. So
We're
those are two I think. Like,
sorry. I was gonna say we're just space Nazis. We want tons of space between our tables, and we're so used to driving and having big houses that we're just not used to being in other people's personal space.
that's a great. I noticed that actually today because I was walking around today. It's like yeah, like it's gonna be tight. You're gonna be like up against the back of someone else, right? And it's like, okay, then just say excuse me when you need to leave, right? Like it's fine. People are fine to get out of the way for you, right? But we just want like, oh my god, if I can't get like a lounger at like, it's like even a Joey's patio, it's like suboptimal. It's too big. You have to go in the restaurant to get it, and then like you don't have that tightness of just chairs lined up in a row, and because the density is what creates that atmosphere, right? Like when you're in like Paris or honestly, yeah, even here in Germany, it's like patios are popping off, man. Like
Yeah,
so,
I think you're totally right. So okay, easy solutions are drinking, legalize that, in more common areas, more walking streets. Just let it happen, and then
Yeah,
patio permits. Don't be so strict on them. I think if you
yeah,
could reduce car traffic in certain areas, that'd be helpful. But I think you're right about
yeah,
the transit. Like, if we could just reduce cars in the city, that would change things substantially. I like where they're going though. They started changing the laws on building permits and zoning. That was a move they made recently, I think, and I think that's the right move. It's like, why are we so restrictive about different density housing, right?
yeah. The NIMBYs, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of politics behind all of that, right? So,
Definitely NIMBYs. It's all NIMBYs.
but I mean, it's high taxes here, right? I mean, your high taxes go to more LRT lines and like more buses that actually go east west, right? Like you do get the things that like your taxes are paid
Yeah.
for.
I think it'll eventually happen. I think fundamentally the other problem is we're actually not close to anything. There's no American cities that are that close. There's the Canadian city that's close is Edmonton and Red Deer, which are reasonably sized actually. Big, like the corridor between Calgary, Edmonton, and Red Deer is actually a big population center compared to Vancouver actually. But
Right?
they have Seattle though, and they have Portland, and it's actually not that far. So that corridor is actually bigger.
And it's still farther compared to Europe, whereas like I'm in a city of like 600K, but like in 30 minutes I go to Cologne, it's 1.5 million people, and like I think most people can't even put Cologne on a map, right? Whereas that would be like a major Canadian city.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have a big corridor, and then even I bet you within 3 hours of you, by train, you have a gigantic population center. Is that right?
bro, that's like Amsterdam. It's all of the Netherlands, the entire country of the Netherlands within 3 hours of me.
Now you're just making me jealous.
I can be at the North Sea coast. I could be at like the North Sea
Are you
coast
guys
in
hiring?
less
Like,
than 3 hours.
oh god, damn, that sounds
Um,
great. In Germany. Sorry, I don't want to work in Calgary. No way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe.
Maybe. Later. Hey, we're rounding up an hour. You got things, places to be, or you wanna keep going?
Yeah, man. I've got yeah. Let's should we call it? Did you want to talk a little bit more about Trump? I know
Oh,
we
I don't care.
basically I'm talking about Musk the most, so
Don't care.
but
I don't think I have anything interesting to say.
well, we made a good improvement. I look great in this camera. I think you sound better. Who knows what will be on that photo next time? You know,
Yeah, I'm gonna keep switching up. I don't know. I'm not overthinking it. Just kind of fun.
live, laugh, love. And oh, I never answered you on what these posters were.
Yes, yes, please tell us.
They're actually posters with New Orleans themes because the owner of this building actually, I think she's like comes from like a rich family or something. I don't know. I think she owns this whole building. Right? It's like 5 floors of flats. She's actually a prof in Louisiana at one of the universities there. So she's got some touches of obviously Louisiana and New Orleans
God,
throughout the house.
that I can sort of feel that. Um,
But I like it because it's kind of less. The weird thing about like living in a furnished place, it's like they're giving you the bare minimum. Like Airbnbs are kind of like that too. They're like, oh, it's like, oh, it comes with a TV. It's like the TV that came with is like total fucking garbage, right? Like it's like the crappiest piece of crap Radio Shack TV. So she's left some good pieces here. Like the artwork is cool. I think the couch behind me is like really nice, but then like a lot of the stuff's just like IKEA furniture, which is like honestly like a bit of a downgrade for me, But let's live with it.
yeah.
Yeah, the art's cool. It adds color to the place, and yeah, I don't know. It's an eclectic pad, which I kind of like too, right? So
Have you been to New Orleans?
no,
Oh, interesting. I drove through it once. Well, sorry, we stayed there for a couple of nights, 2 or 3 nights. It's a cool city. What it reminds me mostly of is I'm gonna send this to you after. Do you remember Hannibal Buress's set about New Orleans? Do you remember this?
vaguely, vaguely.
Oh, it's one of my favorite sets of his. It's just about him um, hiring a second line in New Orleans and disrupting traffic. It's just so funny. I wish I could do it justice.
I
right
do
now. I just
vaguely remember
I
that.
can't do it justice. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do it justice. Maybe I'll include a link in the description if somebody wants to listen to it. But oh god, this makes me laugh every time. Um, yeah, it's a cool city. It's got so much art and music mostly. Music is amazing down there. Yeah.
So that's the nice thing about American cities. It's like each one is kind of known for like a certain thing, but I think a lot of it's the same. You have to always be city center, right? Like even when we in Omaha, right? It's cool for like 16 square blocks, and then once you're out of it, I don't know, the same.
Yeah, kind of all the same. Yeah. Well,
Well,
good pod, buddy.
that's cool. Yeah, always fun. Yeah, what do we call it there?